Hello, I'm Greg, a sailor, a bagpiper, and an all-around jack of all trades. Back here in the shop, briefly. Yesterday started going through all of this gear. This is everything that goes on the mast. So that's my next big project. We'll be getting to that in the next few days. I buffed up these cleats. These are the stern cleats for the boat. Yesterday also cleaned up the whole boom. So we're making good progress. What I have decided to do today is to get out, clean the decks, and prep and put one more coat of primer on. I know Jamestown Distributors had said, oh, I should be mounting the stanchion bases and the tow rails and everything on bare fiberglass and then painting afterwards. That's not what I did on the cabin house. I put 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of finish paint, and then started reinstalling all the hardware, tow rails, grab rails, hatches, everything else, and it all looks beautiful. So I'm going to quickly slap a coat of paint, slap another coat of primer on the decks, and then hopefully the weather will cooperate tomorrow. I can get 1 coat of finish on. I've had sort of a different thought process. I'm going to put 2 coats of finish down on the decks and then install all the tow rails, stanchion bases, everything else. And then I think I'm going to look at masking around stanchion bases and decide really where I want the non-skid at that point. I don't think the whole decks have to be non-skid. I think just the bulk of it. And sort of looking at the cabin house and looking at what I did for the cockpit hatches, the perimeter around and the radius curves, and I think I like that look. It looks really good. So I'm seriously thinking that I'll do the same thing on the decks themselves and just sort of have this little detail around the stanchion bases and around the cabin house. And since I'm not sure exactly how wide I want that gap to be, I want to make sure I just paint all the decks with the topside, the 1-part topside paint. And then we'll move forward from there after I've got that done as to where I want the non-skid. So let's get out and see if we can't get a coat of paint on the boat. So I'm really not sure what to do here. I would love to get the tow rail popped off and maybe set it up here on the cabin top so that I can just paint underneath it and get that all clean and good to go. I am terrified of breaking this like I broke the port one. Port one is all epoxied back together again. What I need to do now is just lightly sand where the breaks and repairs were and put some more finish on, but that basically is ready to come back up here on deck. So for now, I'm going to pull all of the temporary screws that I just put in to hold that tow rail in place and see what happens. Okay, well, I feel good about the tow rail now. A lot of the bow had come out of it from being off the boat for so long. I put it in here, sprung it out, put some temporary screws into it, and if it, dang, if it isn't holding its shape pretty darn good now. So that's a great thing. Okay, I did that without breaking it. So tow rail, starboard tow rail is now tied to the pulpit, off. All those temporary fastenings are pulled. Let's Let's see, let's get my screw gun out of the way and my cell phone back out of the way. And now I want to wipe down the decks and then get another coat of primer on it. Alrighty, well, there is one coat, the second coat of primer on all the decks. Now, tomorrow, hopefully I can get a finish coat on, and then I've also got to sand the cockpit and get that ready. One of the things that's really getting me annoyed is that the cover has been, like resting on this, and the sun has baked it, and it's just, I haven't tried cleaning this to see what's going to take this off, but oh man, if I've got to sand and repaint, I'm going to be really unhappy. Oh well, that's a project for another day. I'm not sure I have any room on my workbench to work anymore. The pile of bags are getting smaller and smaller. Now I'm just getting some random piles of things that I'm like, I wonder, some of these are leftovers, some of them are not. Where do they all go? What do I do with them? Got a couple of other brushes in addition to my tipping brush. Not sure whether I'll need these, but I know I'm going to need a smaller brush to cut in underneath the block cleats on the foredeck. Let's see, topside paint. This is what we need. Well, I can start to feel some solidification at the bottom of the can when I'm stirring it up, which is not great. I don't want to get any particulates in my finish. So that is why I use the strainer. And I can see little lumps and things trickling out. Oh yeah, lots of debris. Don't know if you can see that in here, so it is very important to make sure that it is all filtered. Otherwise you get lumps and bumps in the paint. I need to get some more paint buckets of the 1 quart. I bought way too many pint, but not enough quart. And as you can see, it's another nice hot day out there. Fortunately, we have all of this smoke, haze from the Canadian wildfires, so I'm not painting in direct blinding sun, which is a good thing. All right, let's go out and get to work. I think I'm not going to do a lazy man's load and try to carry everything at once. I'll bring these things out first, then come back for the paint. Oh, I guess I should go back and get my kneeling pad if I'm going to be kneeling here again. Figure some of these epoxy repairs that I did here, I will just put a little paint on them for now, because that will help protect them from the UV. Because epoxy, son of a gun, huge, is not UV resistant. Okay, well, I've cut in around all of those things, and now it's time to start rolling and tipping. Now, I'm going to try to finish the entire foredeck area in one pass, but then I'm going to just work my way down one side and leave a spot right there. I'd rather keep a wet edge going, but at some point you can't. All right, so once again, my old GoPro battery died, but I have finished the first coat of finish paint. So the decks are all done with the first coat, all the way around the boat. So we're getting close. Tomorrow, the weather is supposed to cooperate. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get the second finish coat on the decks. And then I'm done with the decks so that I can mount the stanchion bases, the tow rails, get all the deck hardware installed. And once all the hardware is installed on the decks, then I'm going to look at where I want to paint non-skid. And then I will mask out the non-skid areas and paint the non-skid on. And so that'll be, I believe, well, I've got to double check whether it's one coat or two coats. When I was using non-skid material and regular paint, you'd paint, apply the non-skid material, let it dry, put a top coat on top of the non-skid material, let that dry, and then you're done. This is paint with the non-skid mixed into it. I believe it's only one coat, but I got to double check that. So anyway, done for the day, and we'll come out tomorrow and put a second coat on. Thank you for following SV Slow Air. I'm Greg. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the content that I provide, and don't forget to hit subscribe to get notified when new videos come out. A lot of things going on in the boat right now. We're getting much closer to being in the water, so exciting times. Thank you for following, and we'll see you soon.